So to start, I saw you at the thing you did on Tuesday at iHeartRadio.
Oh, nice. Thank you for coming.
Of course, and you said something that I was like, oh, I guess that's a Pennsylvania thing because I'm from Pittsburgh, where you did piano lessons when you were younger, and that's kind of what did it.
Yes.
And one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when there's a piano in their house, because I was like, again, it's very Pennsylvania that you just kind of have pianos and someone knows how to play.
It's for suburban Pennsylvania.
It's in Pennsylvania. Was it fun getting to not only go back to Pennsylvania and make this movie that is like very Philadelphia area, but also like have those little elements that like someone like me who's from Pennsylvania would be like, yeah, that's what we do there.
Yeah, I mean, my dad in all his movies kind of sets them in Philadelphia and kind of Pennsylvania because that's what we know. And, you know, my grandparents moved there from India, and we've just lived there, you know, many generations now. So it's been a beautiful thing to always kind of have that part, you know, have that in the movies and have it feel like a home base. And it feels like, you know, you can feel that it feels like natural because it's like what we grew up with in our house and the pianos and things like that.
Man, it's just really fun to kind of see, especially like I love that he is your uncle in this movie. I think that's so funny. It's like, because you did your speech about your dad, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, he would be her uncle then in that case. How fun was that for you, getting to like have little moments like that where it is the M. Night cameo that we all know is going to appear in this movie, but you're like, well, I already kind of talked about my dad in this movie.
I mean, the character, you know, obviously it's not me, so there's a, you know, the backstory to her, and I think that's an important aspect of her character and kind of how she found strength within herself and her music and kind of got her through this rough time. And, you know, obviously me and my dad are super close, but there are elements of that I do relate to and kind of, you know, finding yourself and feeling alone and also forgiveness, I think, is a beautiful lesson that I learned from the character.
Yeah, and music, like I studied acting, music always helped me. Yeah. But how is it for you when you're writing music for a character and building her out that way? Like, how does it play a part in how you find Lady Raven?
I mean, it was a big part because I wrote all the music before kind of diving into the acting side of the character. And so I had felt like I spent a lot of time with her in a way, kind of thinking about what is the type of music she would make, what is her relationship with the fans, what does her concert look like, and the costumes and the specificity of that. And so there was a lot of kind of background and detail in there before getting into the acting. And then my dad and I spent a lot of time rehearsing and talking through every single line and what is the intention here and where is she at this moment and what's the difference between how I would feel in that situation and how she would feel in that situation. And so, yeah, it was a very, enlightening process.
I always think it's really interesting when like a female is at the center of like a serial killer story because I think a lot of us inherently love serial killer stuff.
Yes.
Because we have to because we're like, well, we could find ourselves in this situation.
Yes.
How much fun was it for you to get to really dive into that part of the story? Because I think that's where it's really, really fun.
It's super fun and like twisted and crazy, and I think like the dialogue at the house is very genius in its way of kind of towing the line between, you know, what's happening but also trying to navigate a way out of it without causing too much problems. And so it's this very interesting, like, you know, balancing act that the character is in, and it was so fun to play and challenging.
I always wondered when you're filming those concert sequences, because, you know, I know there's not that many people in an arena. How was the energy, though, being in that room when you are singing your songs? There is at least a portion of those people reacting.
It obviously wasn't the whole stadium full, but there was a good amount of people every day there, and they were giving the energy. Like, it felt like they really loved it, and, I mean, they had the songs beforehand, so they got to know the lyrics and were singing along for real in real life. And then it felt like we got to experience a concert in slow motion almost over like 9-10 days. And then, you know, when the features came up, those were really exciting days, and the audience was excited to see a new person, and we got new songs. And, you know, by the end of the day, like, they knew the song so well, so it was really fun.
Yeah, and for a last quick thing I have to ask, could you see Josh Hartnett in the audience? Because I think it is so funny when it pans to the audience and he's so tall.
He's so tall. My dad and I were just talking about that yesterday because we were flying and we were like in a crowd leaving the airport, and he's like so tall above everyone else. And he said he was like, it made framing him really easy, but it was hard when both of you were in the frame because I'm so short and he's so tall. And he was like, I couldn't find a good angle to get both of you.
Loved it so much. I was like, this is the funniest thing. But thank you so much for talking with me, and I can't wait for everyone to see you, Tra.
Thank you so much.